Hello everyone, and welcome to the second half of MBA 550. This is the strategy portion of the course. I always like to do an introductory video walking you through the course for all of my online courses. I think it really helps if I can explain what I'm looking for and what the course is trying to achieve, rather than try to communicate it in lots of different places within the course in the written form. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the entire course. As always, if you have any questions or need anything clarified, please never hesitate to contact me. Okay, so let's start. You're already in the welcome video right here if you're watching this. So let's go ahead and start with the syllabus. I've already opened up a copy, which I will open right here. So you should already have seen this syllabus during the first half of the course. And we are going to be talking about the second half of the course, and that's me right there, Dr. Kevin Hill. There's my cell. Feel free to call me with any problems, and there's my email. Also a great way to contact me. So I'm going to go straight to the assignments in the calendar, since you've already had all of the boilerplate rules and basic course policies. You've already been in the course a while, so there's no need to go through that again. Okay, here we go. Unit B. Now, what I'm going to recommend right from the start is that when looking at your schedule and what you need to do when, to work through Moodle rather than the syllabus. Here's why. If something happens during the course and I need to make a change, of course I'm going to make the change in both Moodle and the syllabus. But if you've already downloaded a copy of the syllabus and printed it out and are always referring back to it, you wouldn't have the change because you don't have the most recent copy. I will try not to have anything come up where we would need changes, but sometimes there's confusion on an assignment. I want to bump out the due date a few days to give everyone some more time. And once again, it's hard to do that if you have a printed copy of the syllabus. So I always recommend go by the Moodle dates. But this gives you a general idea of what is due when. Officially, the course starts on 3/12 and we will end on 5/7. It says here 5/6, but 5/7 is the last day everything is due. And I wanted to go through, most specifically on the syllabus, where your grades are going to be, what you're going to get points for. Now, in order for this to make sense, I have to give a brief introduction into the course. And that is, this course uniquely is pretty much 100% a simulation. Meaning we are going to simulate a real-life work business experience. We have subscribed to the top online simulation company. Everything is going to be done online. It's actually through the University of Tennessee. And they have developed an amazing simulation. I've used quite a few over the years, and this one is by far the best. So just about everything you're going to do in this course is going to relate to that simulation. And I'm going to talk to you about how to log in and get into that simulation in a few minutes. But I needed to say that in order for the grading to make sense. At the top of the list is the business plan. You're going to be doing business plan for week 5 of the course. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. That's worth 25 points out of 100 for this half of the class. There's going to be a final team presentation. I should also mention that everything you're going to do in the simulation is with the team, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. Ownership of a balanced scorecard. That is something that will come directly from your participation in the simulation. There's nothing to turn in there. Executive briefing contribution. You're going to be doing 6 executive briefings with your team. And your contribution to those briefings will be worth 24 points. So 4 points for each of the 6 reports you're going to submit. Next is the peer evaluation. You will have 3 peer evaluations. This is to provide accountability for everybody in the group to make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And there will be 3 of those worth 2 points each. And finally, participation and attendance will be worth 15 points. Of course, being an online course, what we're really looking there is participation activity within the course. Okay, so that's the syllabus. We're going to spend most of our time, intro time here in Moodle. Okay, so for week 1, These are things due by the 18th. The course is officially a Thursday course, so everything will be due on a Thursday. But I have it structured for each week. The week is ending on a Wednesday. So it's just, I know that may seem a little confusing, but that way you have the full 7 days to work on things. And if you need to work on it a little bit the day it's due, you can. And I'll go through all the due dates in a minute. So the first thing you need to do on the first week of class is get with your group, and you also need to sign into the simulation. And everything you need there is on this document, Student Instructions to Sign Up for Simulation MBA 550 Online. So go ahead and open that document. I've already opened a copy here. And this is what you're going to see. First of all, it's called Marketplace Simulations. That's the company we're going through. And they have a fantastic helpline. I've had to call it a few times in setting up the course and getting familiar with it myself. And they always answer first ring. It's been very good. If you have any problems with the simulation, that is where you go. I'm a facilitator. I wouldn't be able to help you with the nuts and bolts and the navigation of the simulation. We have a helpline all set up for that. And there's also an email address here. I've had a great experience in calling them, so that's actually where my recommendation would be. So the first thing you need to do is set up an account. So you're going to go to this login page, and you'll also need this game ID number down here. But these instructions, I don't need to really go step by step through these instructions. They're very self-explanatory. They're very well done. But when you click on this login page, it's going to look like this. And then you're going to click on Create New Account. You're a student. And then you're going to fill all this in. I'd take you through step by step, but this is as far as I can go without actually paying for the course as a student. And that brings me to my next point, and that is that this will cost money. You don't have textbooks for the course. Well, you have a book that's built into the simulation, but you don't have separate textbooks. So this is your materials cost for the course. So you will have to pay for it. And once again, these instructions will guide you through, and this is the code that I set up for this class. And so this is the group you will go into. Now, you will be doing the game in groups. That's what the dean and the department chair have decided, that this is a group assignment. We've also decided that the groups need to be random. One of the reasons for that is that at this point, many of you will have taken several classes together and you've worked with several people in the class. So everyone's going to have pretty strong opinions on who they want to work with. The problem with that is that we could never come up with a combination that would keep everybody happy. So I went with a random distribution of people into groups. And these are the groups here. You can open the document and you'll have the same list, so you don't have to take them off the video here. But these are the groups. These are the groups you'll be working with. So when you sign in, make sure that if you're assigned to Team 2, that you register for Team 2. Okay, so that's how you get going in the simulation. The simulation is very self-explanatory. It will guide you through everything that needs to be done. So for this first week, you need to do quarter 1 in the simulation. And quarter 1 isn't that much work. They really just get you up to speed with the simulation. It's a lot of fun. I've gone through it. I think you guys will really enjoy it. I wish I had something like this when I was getting my MBA. There's little short videos and explanations, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed spending some time in it recently. You'll also see that there are PowerPoints and chapters for each week. These are optional, but I highly recommend spending some time with them. The PowerPoints and the chapters both come from the simulation people. The chapters are also available within the simulation. They're part of your fee. I posted them here because everybody will have paid for them. And if you're going to do really well in the simulation, these chapters and PowerPoints are a very important part of that experience and preparing you for the simulation each week. Okay, let's look at week 10, which is the second week of this course. You will need to complete quarter 2 in the marketplace simulation You will also have your first executive briefing. There's going to be 6 of these throughout the term. So let's go ahead and open up this assignment and see what it looks like. So your executive briefing is going to be a PowerPoint presentation, no fewer than 10 slides. And you're going to create this as a group. This is not an individual assignment. This is a group assignment. So your group is going to create a PowerPoint presentation. There is no written document to be included with this. However, to make it a real presentation, I need one of 2 things along with the PowerPoint slides. I need either notes included with each slide. So there's an option in PowerPoint to include notes with the slide. So I need a pretty healthy description of maybe what you would say if you were presenting the PowerPoint included in those notes. Or as a second option, you may narrate the PowerPoint. PowerPoint has a function within it where you could record a narration. So you could have one person as their chore for the week or their portion of this assignment, record a narration and explain each slide and then submit it that way. You may choose either the notes or the narration, whichever your group leans towards. It really makes no difference to me, and it won't make a difference in the grading. Okay, what should be included in the presentation is listed right here. These are the topics that should be covered in the presentation. You don't have to cover every single one, but most of these issues should be addressed within the presentation. Okay, so that's what your executive briefings are going to be. Now, I won't go over each executive briefing assignment in this video. This is the first one. The other 5 are nearly identical. They'll have a different list of things to cover, but essentially you're going over what you did this week in the simulation. We don't have 8 for the 8 weeks simply because 1 week we have an alternative assignment. Week 5, I'll get to that in a minute. And I didn't want to assign something week 1. I wanted to give everybody time to really dig into the simulation without having to create a document in that first week. Okay, moving on. Oh, I should also mention there's a couple videos here. These are nice supplementary videos, not required, but they're good stuff. Okay, in week 11, third week of this class, we have our first peer evaluation. Now, there are peer evaluations within the simulation, and that's where I get these peer evaluations. However, do not complete the peer evaluations within the simulation. The reason being that those evaluations would then be sent to the person you're evaluating. I like peer evaluations to be anonymous, so I've chosen to go a different way with this. Once again, these are the same ones that are in the simulation, but I'd rather you do them privately and submit them individually. So once again, it says here, weekly tasks to be completed as individuals. So we're going to open up the evaluation, and in here you'll see an Excel file. So go ahead and open the Excel file. And this is what your evaluation will look like. Now, most of you should have 3 other teammates. Maybe somebody has 4. Nobody will have 5 teammates, but I made the sheet a little bigger just in case. And the instructions are right up here. If you follow those instructions, you'll be fine. You're going to give each teammate, you're going to label first your name, then put the name of the teammate you're evaluating, then give them a score in each gray box for each one of these items. And at the bottom for each person, there's a place for comments. The comments are optional, but the scores are not. You need to put the scores in. And these are going to be graded. And this is a way for me to know who's doing the work and who isn't doing the work. And other scores on other assignments or even this assignment will be adjusted accordingly. This creates great accountability and makes sure just the threat of this, knowing that you are being evaluated 3 times through the course, should keep everybody accountable for doing what they're supposed to do for the projects. And if there's anything exceptionally harsher or there's an emergency of some sort within the group, don't wait for the peer evaluations. Just contact me directly. Okay, back to Moodle. So that's the peer evaluations. And see here in week 11, we have to do week 3 in the simulation, and then we have the executive briefing due. Week 12 or week 4 of this course, another executive briefing And then week 5, we change it up just a little bit. You're going to continue to do the next quarter in the simulation. You'll notice here that we have there's a reminder in week 3 or week 11, third week of this course, to do quarter 3 in the marketplace simulation. I didn't include those reminders after that week because I thought it was a little self-explanatory, and I try real hard to keep the Moodle page from being overly cluttered. But you do need to do one of those quarters each week. So and that's real self-explanatory and should go without saying, especially because it's tied to, you can't do the executive briefing without having done the quarter. So that was just my attempt to keep things from getting overly cluttered. A cluttered Moodle page makes it very difficult, I think, to stay on task and keep clear what needs to be done. Okay, so in week 5 of the course, week 13 overall, you'll have your second peer evaluation and you'll have your business plan. So you're going to create, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So as a group, you're going to create a business plan. This is part of the simulation. It is you'll see references to it within the simulation, but I put the instructions here. Before I get to the format, briefly, this is what the business plan should include. You have everything right here. So that's what should be addressed. And of course, this is referring to the simulation. That's the company that you will be writing about. The presentation will be 12 to 15 minutes using PowerPoint. I know it's an online class. I'll just explain how we're going to do that in a second. The presentation needs to be narrated, audio included in PowerPoint, like I explained before, or the PowerPoint needs to be accompanied by a written script, a Word or PDF document to be submitted alongside. This is more than just notes at a slide. I want a full script of how you would present this. This is included in addition to the PowerPoint. So to achieve the 12 to 15 minute time requirement, it is recommended that PowerPoint be between 15 and 20 slides. It can be longer if you don't have a lot of writing or narration along with each slide. So what we're looking at here is a PowerPoint, 12 to 15 minutes, which once again would be about 15 to 20 slides. And I need a script, or you can actually narrate the PowerPoint. My personal experience, having assigned assignments like this for almost 20 years now and having done several myself, is that the narration is far less work than the written document. I will not give anyone a preference in how I grade. Both will be graded equally. I'm just giving you a heads up that having a narration will take, for the most part, far less time than to write up a script of what you would say word for word, especially if you have someone who's gifted in presenting a PowerPoint in your group. Participation, everyone should have a role in the presentation. So everybody should be involved in creating slides, doing the narration if that's the way you choose to go with it, writing the script if that's the way you choose to go with it. Everyone needs to be involved. But I do highly recommend you divide and conquer on this and all assignments, meaning everybody takes an equal portion of the assignment and works on it. You could even do something where somebody has a bigger portion in one assignment and a smaller in the next. So the workload should even out over the course of the semester. That's part of this assignment, and part of this course is for the group to figure out how to adequately divide labor. This is a big part of real life jobs. As many of you know, most of you are employed. And when you get put in a group, how you organize yourself and how you assign tasks is one of the biggest challenges. And that's what we're trying to simulate here. So it's part of the class to figure out how to divide everything up equally. Okay, so that's the business plan. Let's back out of that. You will still need, and you can't complete the business plan without it, to do quarter 5 in the simulation there. Once again, you're doing a quarter every week. Week 6, you have the executive briefing for quarter 6. Week 7, you're going to have another executive briefing due. You're also going to take the Peregrine test. Now, this is a test, it's a standardized test. It's given to MBA students all across the country. It is required that you complete it for the class, but it is not a graded portion of the class. However, I want to encourage everyone to do as well as they possibly can on the test, because this is one of the measures by which our program is going to be judged. So the better you do, the better the program looks, and the better your degree looks. So I really hope when it comes time to take this exam that everybody really takes it seriously and does their best so that we can get a high institutional score. So that will be in week 7, and you will just click on the link and follow the instructions through to the exam. And I will probably send out an email or make another video regarding that exam as time draws closer to give you additional instructions. Finally, the last week 16 of the course, week 8 of the second half, you'll have your third and final peer evaluation. I ask that you please do the peer evaluation after everything else has been done so that you can accurately describe somebody over the course of getting these last couple assignments in. You have your final week of the course, of the simulation, and you'll have to complete quarter 8, and then you'll do the executive briefing for quarter 8, which at this point you should have kind of on cruise control. You would have done so many of them. And then you'll have the final team presentation to the board. Once again, I'm going to open that up. And it's going to be very similar to the business plan, actually. It's going to be 12 to 15 minutes, 15 to 20 slides, narration, or an accompanying script. I really believe that these assignments are, as I said before, better with the narration, simply because they're easier and they're a little bit more natural. Writing scripts for these can be incredibly time consuming. So make sure you have a real discussion. Students tend to go straight towards the script without realizing that it is a lot more work. What should be included in the presentation is given here. I won't go over each part of it. If you have any questions, please contact me, of course. The purpose of the presentation is to update the board of the simulation company, where you've come from and where you are and where you're going. So that's, once again, all of this is related to the simulation. This is really the assignment that's going to wrap up the simulation. And participation, everyone should have a role in the presentation. So everybody should have, like with the business plan, everyone needs to be involved in the assignment. So the final week is a little heavy. So I really recommend that you spend some time in week 15 or even week 14 starting to work, maybe work a little bit ahead and start to really divide some of the work for this final week up over the previous weeks and kind of look out and get in front of it a little bit. Keep an eye on this final team presentation. You can start to outline it and figure out how it's all going to look without having completed all the final weeks or quarters in the simulation. You'll kind of know what's coming, so keep an eye on that as well. Okay, I believe we have covered the entire course. So once again, this course is completely built around the simulation. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If there's any questions about what needs to be submitted, when it needs to be submitted, if you need help with the simulation as far as the business theory behind it, please contact me right away. If you need help with the physical interaction with the simulation, with any technical issues, please use the 800 number or the email address for the simulation, and they'll take really good care of you. I look forward to going through this class with all of you. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.